out from Rakib. Why it's taken this long. Rakib, a very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for talking to us, man. Adil Khan, 51, Kerry Abdul Rauf, 52. Incredibly, these people apparently said that they couldn't be deported because they had children in this country, and those children needed a role model. Hard to believe.
Well, it's quite amazing that they would try to use the legal defence on the grounds that one of them said that his son needed a role model. Not sure he needs that kind of that kind of role model, if truth be told. Mike, very interestingly, this is part of the ECHR, which I've talked about with you before, Article 8,
yes.
Right to private and family life. And I think this is the kind of thing that many British people will be extremely frustrated over, the fact that there are existing human rights provisions in place which are then being exploited by quite heinous individuals in order to prevent their deportation from our country. And I think that involving themselves in quite remarkable forms of criminal activity. As you say, Mike, this was a long-running legal saga, but I would like to think that it has come to the outcome that many of us would like to see.
Yes, I think so. But the question will be, from an awful lot of people, and certainly from Maggie Oliver and people who have worked with her over the course of time to try and bring these people to justice, she says it's still going on in lots of towns in the north of England. But there's many, many more people who should also be deported, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the idea that this is a crisis which has ended, that's not true at all. Britain very much has a grooming gangs crisis. And I think in this particular case, looking at Rochdale, Greater Manchester Police has an absolutely terrible record when it comes to combating group-based child sexual abuse. In this particular case, looking at Rochdale, the record suggests that it was up to 47 girls who were victims of group-based child sexual exploitation. And quite often you see, Mike, that it is these girls, these victims, they're criminalised themselves, quite often being in and out of court. And I think this is something where we see this toxic mixture of political correctness, racial sensitivities, and victim-blaming tendencies, and that really needs to end within our public institutions that have a fundamental duty of care.
Yes, absolutely right. And of course, the police have admitted now that one of the reasons that this went on for such a long time, unchecked and unabated, was because they were frightened of being accused of racism. There's no evidence, it seems to me, Rakib, that that's changed. There's no evidence that they are any more empowered to go into these communities and start arresting people.
Well, we've seen police forces, for example, when it comes to these kinds of cases, there's a great deal of ethnicity-related data missing. And I think that shows that how many of our public institutions are paralysed by political correctness and those racial sensitivities. Greater Manchester Police, as I said, has a terrible record on this. For example, the premature closing of Operation Augusta, which was investigating grooming gangs predominantly made of Pakistani Muslim origin men. And one of the reasons why that was prematurely closed is because the police officers there, they'd previously dealt with a case involving another migrant origin group, I believe men of Kurdish origin, and they didn't want to be seen as targeting another ethnic minority. But the reality of the matter is remarkable, Mike.